Okay, folks, welcome back to part 3 of elasticity, also known as responsiveness. All right, so we left off on this chart, and now I'd like to go to what's called cross-price elasticity of demand, or just cross-elasticity of demand. Okay, and this will measure the responsiveness of sales to a change in the price of another good. So does this start to sound familiar? How do I know something's a complement? How do I know something's a substitute? Well, we use the cross elasticity to discover those things. If a good is a substitute, it will have a positive sign. All right? If the good is a complement, they'll have a negative sign. If the good has no relationship whatsoever, it's independent of the other good, then it will be a 0. Okay, like what's the relationship between ramen and coffee? There is no relationship. Okay? So let's look at the formula. We have the percentage change in the quantity demanded of product X over the percentage change in the price of product Y. So if you remember this, we talked about always making sure the dollar amount is the denominator. So we're going to say, what's the percentage change in the quantity demanded of jelly let's do the quantity demanded of peanut butter when the price of jelly changed. So what you do is you get rid of the X and Y and you just make them products. So percentage change in the quantity demanded of peanut butter when there's a percentage change in the price of jelly. So if jelly prices are going up, right, the demand for peanut butter is going down. So going in opposite directions. Now the sign's important because now we're going to have a positive number and we're not looking at the absolute value. So if the sign is negative because one's going up, the other is going down, right? Then we have a negative sign. That means they're complements. Peanut butter and jelly go together. The other example I like to use is coffee and tea. So what happens to the percentage change in the quantity demanded of tea if the price of coffee changes, right? So the price of coffee goes up, the demand for tea goes up with it, meaning you're going to have the same sign. Then you have a positive sign. That makes the products substitutes. Okay, so cross elasticity will tell you substitute or complement. Then the other thing we want to look at is income elasticity. So we want to measure the responsiveness of buyers to a change in income. Okay, so we know that if income goes up, the good is normal, we'll buy more of it, right? So income goes up, quantity goes up, we get a positive number. However, I told you about inferior goods, and we could argue that mac and cheese is inferior good. You're going to tell me you love it, it's not inferior, blah, 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 right? Well, we'll put it in here. What happens in the country when income rises? What happens to the quantity of mac and cheese? So let's go back one. Sorry about that. Right? So we got the income elasticity. So I have the percentage change in mac and cheese over the percentage change in income. If one goes up and one goes down, we get a negative sign. That means the good's inferior. You can argue all you want about it, right? Normal good, they're both going in the same direction. All right, so you have elasticity of demand, you have cross elasticity, and you have income elasticity. And now we're going to just give you a quick chart. Okay, let me throw up the chart again. So, negative, positive gives you substitutes, negative gives you complements, right? Positive gives you a normal or a superior good, negative gives you an inferior good. So there's a chart. You might want to make one of those for yourself, for your study guide, right? Now let's look at the price elasticity of supply. This measures the seller's responsiveness to a price change. How quickly can they get their good to market? All right? So when we look at it, we have the elastic supply. Producers are responsive to price changes. So if we find out that the price changes of pizza, they can respond quickly and get more pizza on the market, right? That's a responsive change. However, what if they're not responsive? What if they can't get more supply? So an example of that would be apartment buildings. What if all of a sudden the price of apartment buildings go up? Can we just throw an apartment building up quickly? Can we respond to that change? We cannot. If I'm making bagels, if I'm making hamburgers, any of those things, I can respond to the change quickly, right? How quickly did producers of toilet paper respond to the change in price, right, during the pandemic? That's something that you would look at, okay? So let's look at the formula for a second. Okay, the formula of computed elasticity, same concept. Greater than 1, supply is elastic. Less than 1, supply is inelastic. So what does the formula look like? Here's your formula. Percentage change in quantity of the product over the percentage change in price of the product. Again, dollar amount on the numerator. Otherwise, these things will drive you nuts to try to remember. Always the dollar amount. The quantity is always on top. Quantity is the numerator. So here we have the change in supply over the change in price, and we don't worry about the coefficient because we know they're going to go in the same direction because we remember our law of supply, don't we, boys and girls? Okay, so this is the end of elasticity. All right, this is the last video, 3 parts, and you're going to break them down, and hopefully by the end of this, we have a good understanding about elasticity. Again, I can't emphasize enough about just using the word responsiveness. If it's responsive, it's elastic. Unresponsive, inelastic. All right, so that's it. Talk to you later, guys.